Greetings. Welcome back to Ministry Monday. I'm Carlton Coon. I hope you had a great weekend. Preachers live under stress. We preach under stress, and we often preach and teach in very difficult times when things are not particularly well. It can be that there is strife within the church. It can be that there is strife within your own life, within your home, sickness, infirmity, etc. It can simply be that you're leading a church group out of a season, a time of crisis. I'll tell you something I learned. That is that you cannot preach the problem. You have to preach the solution. And when we bring attention to the problem, it magnifies it. On the other hand, if we do something quite different, and I've done this any number of times through the years of ministry, where that I found myself in a storm. I felt that the church was in a great struggle and crisis, and I decided that the only answer that I had was to preach the exaltation of Christ. And what that meant was that every message I preached basically became a message of praise and of worship of some aspect of the attribute of Christ. Let me give a couple of examples. Do you know that in the Old Testament, the principle of the high priest and the cities of refuge intermingle, and people lived in the city of refuge. Those who had been guilty of manslaughter lived in the city of refuge until the high priest died. And when the high priest died, suddenly they were free of all constraints and they were no longer in peril. When the high priest is dead, well, Christ is our high priest. He's been to Calvary on our behalf. You can preach it and you can exalt him, that we're no longer living on probation. We're no longer living in constriction or restraint. Preach the exaltation of Christ. What about preaching the Queen of Sheba? Prepare to be impressed. What about when the Israelites have left Egypt behind, and the Bible says that regarding the gods of the Egyptians, that in the thing in which they behaved proudly, he was above them. How about just preaching to your congregation, and maybe even preaching to yourself sometimes, that the antidote to fear is Jesus' statement, I am with you. I know this, that if you'll get your focus on Jesus and you'll preach Jesus to your congregation all through the midst of whatever storm or strife or struggle you're going through right now, I can assure you you'll come out much quicker than if you constantly are bringing attention to the problem and the difficulties that you're attempting to overcome. Have a good week. I hope that you'll exalt Jesus all through the coming days.